What a week it's been thus far. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to Vivid Earth. Anina with your Intel and Energy update on this Tuesday. So I hope you all survived the crazy energies the last few days. As you can hear, I've got a scratchy throat. I thought I was getting the flu, although I knew it wasn't the flu. It was just a kind of a purge, as many of us are experiencing at this stage, letting go of old stuff so we can move forward clearer, cleaner, brighter, and more connected. Quite honestly, I felt a big shift these last few days within myself. Definitely much more aligned, I would say, with my path, and busy unlocking all sorts of interesting details about galactic history and my galactic history, and just, trying to see what's the next step I can take in this earth journey that I'm on. Ultimately with, spiritual growth as the biggest sort of to-do item right now. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an intel update on what's happening in the geopolitical scene, and then I'll give you a bit of an energy update. But definitely we're living in interesting times. Things are happening at rapid speed now. We are in a very, very fast phase. And in fact, things will only speed up from here. Once we get into July, there's certain astronomical alignments. I can't remember which ones now. I think it's Uranus in Gemini. That's going to really speed things up. So things are going to pick up speed. If we think time is passing quickly now, you ain't seen nothing yet. The best of this is still to come. And I think it's great. Like, if we can just get through this last phase of this covert spiritual war, I'd be very happy. And I'm sure you would be too. So let's welcome it on board. You can see now how the narrative is building, against Biden, supposedly now in a very serious condition, cancer, and which is very aggressive apparently. So interesting timing that they'll reveal all of this when all the Autopen scandals are busy coming out, because what the narrative is building towards now is the fact that most likely Biden has had cancer for his whole reign of 4 years and hardly knew what was going on, which we could see visibly. And I know this is a movie, but it's important, these details, for the normies, because this is how we're going to shift the needle. When they see what's been going down in the last 4 years, the Autopen scandal, which means anything and everything that Biden signed is not legitimate, and it's illegal, basically, because he didn't sign it. And they're now building the narrative towards who are the ones that had access to the Autopen, who did this, and it's going to get interesting, is all I can say. There was a tweet by the General MC News saying, breaking, Democrats are demanding President Trump's DOJ to drop all investigations into the Biden family, using his cancer diagnosis as justification. And our friend Ariel was saying to that, public military tribunals wouldn't have anything to do with that request, would it now? You can see the Dems are starting to oust themselves now for what they really are. We can see when they get really desperate, when they are about to be exposed. And things are really hotting up right now, guys. We just need to keep a little lookout for any false flags coming our way. But I say just ignore that. Don't give it any energy, because our thoughts and our intentions and our emotions around this phase of the war is so important. If we entertain any doubt, any fear, any doom and gloom whatsoever, guess what? We're going to be collectively manifesting that into existence. We don't want to do that. And that is so important, that you are disciplined about your mind, basically, that you really start managing your mind instead of your mind running amok and doing what it pleases, because it needs direction, it needs discipline, it needs training. And that is just through working through it diligently every day. And you'll master that secret. So this is so, so important. I can't stress it enough. Yes, the cabal, they might pull a few last things, and we need to be ready for that. We need to counter that with incredible positive energy. And we have so much help right now. Did you see all the angels in the sky and the clouds in the sky that look supernatural, beautiful, but supernatural? There's been huge angels appearing in the clouds, like literally with the form of an angel and sort of rainbow light around it. There's another one that I shared as well, with this beautiful rainbow light coming out, rings of rainbow light around the clouds. These are things that we've never seen before, and we have to take notice, because things will be given to you as messages. So don't think, oh, I'm just making this up, or it's just a coincidence. Not really. My imagination is just running away with me. Those are signals from your guidance team to tell you things are on track. Hold the line, hold the light, and do not let go. Because we are the light keepers. We are the grid keepers on this planet. We are the ones that are securing the highest timeline. Nobody else. Nobody is doing anything to us. We are the ones that are directing our path in front of us. And really, that is, just comes right back to spiritual sovereignty. Because you cannot be sovereign and a victim at the same time. Those two don't gel. So either you're a victim or you're sovereign. You can't be both. Because if you decide that you're going to be sovereign, then you will not let anyone or anything push you from that center. Because as soon as you go back into victimhood, you're going to blame somebody else, and you're going to keep living in the past and bringing more of that into your life and into the collective reality. And that's not what we want. So it's to say, okay, we acknowledge we've been messed with in the past, but we're now moving forward. We're making a decision that we're going to be free and sovereign. No one will enslave us ever, ever again. And we're beyond blaming anyone now. We're going to just move forward and keep focus on the world that we're busy creating, because the systems are collapsing in real time around us. It may feel slow to you, but believe me, in the higher realms, it's happening at breakneck speed, and the success of the light has already been ensured. There's no doubt about that. Things always happen faster and more on a more quantum level in the higher realms, on the spiritual realms, than it does in this 3D reality. So it's up to you. And you can start living in 5D right now if you wanted to. So keep that in mind as well. The more you feed the beast, the more the beast will keep the false matrix grid in place for you. It's such a difficult thing to grasp, because yes, we're all living on the same planet, experiencing the same things, but some of us are experiencing things differently. We are already living in high realms. We see it from a very different vantage point. And we're seeing the beauty, the abundance, the freedom that's unfolding around us. That's what we are experiencing, because we choose to focus on that. So if you're not experiencing those things, think about what kind of thoughts are you harboring? What kind of words are you speaking into the ethers? Because that's what you're going to be attracting back to you. And you guys are slowing down. I'm not saying all of you, but the ones that are living in doubt and fear and worry and think, what's the next doom and gloom, and when is it going to hit? This is too good to be true. We're just being fooled again. You're actually slowing down the whole process for all of us. If you are watching something like this, it means you have the potential to be a beacon of light around this planet, and that is what your soul wants you to do. So if you are still entertaining doom and gloom, you are doing a disservice to your path, to your higher self, to your guidance team that are there every step of the way for you, cheering for you, rooting for you, hoping that you'll make the right decision in every moment. And you're affecting the collective outcome of this reality as it's unfolding, because our future reality, and we know that's not really a thing, but if we had to look at it from our perspective as a future reality, is unfolding now, right now, in every now and moment. Because all of what we experience is made up out of little now moments, and what you decide, what you say, and what action you take in that now moment is going to determine the collective outcome. So, this is how we can actually slow down the entire process. When we choose not to look inside, when we choose not to do the spiritual work, to reflect on how reality works and how it works within, not connecting with the higher self, not grounding, not centering, not humbling yourself, not unlocking the love in your heart that you need to, because that's the key to 5D. That is slowing down the process. So let's not get off track, guys. We all sometimes can get a little off track, but we must course correct immediately when that happens, because that is not helping. Things are happening at breakneck speed. Believe me. If you can see it from where I'm seeing it, you will know in terms of the collective consciousness, this movie is playing out as quickly as it can. But it needs to be very strategic, step by step by step, because you can't rush a collective conscious awakening. It can't actually be rushed unless you have a solar flash. And everyone is just immediately will know what's going on. But then we will lose a lot of people. And there'll be a lot of trauma because of that. And we don't want that. So this is why it was chosen this way. We're going to do it completely organically. And we have all the inner technology, the organic technology to do this. And as I said, in the higher realms, it's already done. Because there's no such thing as past, present, future in the higher realms. There's no such thing as time. Those time-space continuum becomes a very different concept. So I was hoping just to do Intel first and then the energy update. But as you can see, they intertwine and we have to kind of just roll with it. As it comes in, it needs to be spread out accordingly. So the Biden thing is very interesting. We will see a lot more about this unfolding. Trump has truthed some incredible things to do with Biden, the fact that he should be behind bars. He posted the video about John and Hillary and the fact that she might have killed him. All of these things are unfolding, which is unprecedented, I will remind you. These things are actually coming to the fore now. He tweeted a picture of himself with a Q plus on his collar. Like, hello, how much more obvious than that can it get? He was very careful in the early days to say, I don't know what that is. Now he's starting to embrace the concept because the collective consciousness is ready. So this is incredible. This really is incredible. The whole Biden thing, when that thread gets unraveled, everything comes apart. Everything comes apart. You'll see the narrative about child trafficking and saving the little ones, how that has been building over the past days, just the past week, how that narrative has been building. Every day there's an announcement almost about this one caught, that trafficking ring being brought down, these kids saved. I mean, it's literally too much to even keep track with. So we are making incredible progress. And there was even a trafficking ring in South Africa that was brought down in the mines. Things are happening. Okay, be positive, be encouraged, be excited, because we're about to see a whole new reset of the world, and abundance and freedom is coming. All it needs is for you to be ready, because we need to be spiritually ready for all of this. Otherwise, we're going to make a big mess of it. So you need to be prepared for the level of abundance, freedom, and peace that we'll be experiencing. Okay? So in a way, all of this dark stuff has also worked to our benefit, because as a human species, we had to evolve, and we came here as volunteers to help the species evolve, because it looked like it was getting a little bit into a very bad direction. I'm talking about this started decades ago. So the starseeds and the volunteers came into this planet with their ancient wisdom and knowledge, but of course the forgetfulness of reincarnating here kind of disconnects you from all of that. So, but it's this slow but surely remembrance and reconnection that we're busy tapping into now that is really shifting the needle. And, you know, a bunch of us knew we were here on a mission just straight away, I think, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. And we've been searching for what is our role, what is our purpose, you know, what are we meant here to do, at the same time developing our own soul connection, higher self connection, you know. So I'm getting a little bit distracted now, but you know what I mean? That is just what's been going on here. And it's a beautiful thing to see how it unfolds, because we in our lifetime will see a big shift. We're not just doing this work for the next generation, which is what the past volunteers have done. That basically we're not really here to enjoy necessarily the results of their labor. We will be enjoying the results of our labor, because the world is about to shift in ways that we never thought possible. And our future will be something that we could never fathom before, because we've never, with our human memory, experienced that, right? Now, there's a tweet that went out earlier, and so there's a witness that's going to be in the Diddy trial tomorrow, and he is known as the Punisher. And where have we seen that before? So we know the Punisher has been there to disclose, you know, Pizzagate and all of that. And actually, those words are making it into normie land now. It was on ABC News, court adjourned just after 3 p.m. EST. That was yesterday. And prosecutors said Tuesday's witness, oh, that was actually today, not tomorrow, today, will include an alleged escort known as the Punisher, as well as Cassie Ventura's mother. So things are unfolding around that court case, which is helping. It's you know, starting to get linked with the Epstein list, the whole Hillary thing, and all the hundreds of unalived people that worked with her. He's almost busy making it into mainstream news. I think even Fox News was talking about it, or one of the Fox presenters was talking about that. So this is about as fast as it's going to go. And of course, the fake stream media is already running up articles about heartless Trump demanding after Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis amid claims of cover-up. So they always try and spin it in the other direction, right? And on the financial side, we've got Doge, which is now closing in on $500 billion in savings. And if you look at the debt clock, oh, I can't even speak today. The USA Eden wealth asset-backed dollars are appearing on the debt clock. Yeah. So things are getting spicy, things are getting interesting, but you know, I'm not one of those that say, oh, the EBS is going to happen tomorrow within the next 24 hours. No, within the next 24 hours. I mean, they're literally people like, just calm down. We've been hearing about the EBS for years, and if it happens, great. I'm not holding my breath that it'll happen tomorrow, because then I live with a cortisol, you know, thing that I just have these expectations, and then if it doesn't happen, what then? More disappointment, more doubt, more negative thoughts. That's why I don't talk about it anymore. In the old days, I was also convinced it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm talking about, you know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Now I'm just like, I'm so content. I'm so happy where this is all going. And I just know the EBS, whatever needs to happen, will happen when the time is right. And all will be well. Don't go out and buy 20 million rolls of toilet paper. You're not going to need it, okay? Things are going to go very smoothly. It's not going to be 3 weeks of whatever, lockdowns or whatever. It's just not going to happen, guys. So things are going to go smoothly. Yes, there may be an EBS. When it happens, when the time is right, it will happen. So, yeah. And then George, hello George, was tweeting the movie we were watching from 2021 to 2024 with actors playing the role of Joe Biden was also a sting operation. Yes. This will continue to become more and more clear in the months ahead as the crimes committed by the swamp during that time continue to be exposed. So everything is making sense afterwards, isn't it? So if we can just trust that now, while we're still in it, it is going to make sense when it's all done. Just trust that, okay? Doesn't mean you have to sit back and do nothing. Do whatever small contribution you can from where you are situated, and that's going to make a difference. But the biggest thing that you can do is to go within, work on your own spiritual evolution, because you're going to be doing it for the collective. Think 100 monkey effect. Somehow that evolved consciousness, which we all busy working on, is going to seep into the ethers, and others will just absorb it, and one day they'll just wake up and they'll just be a different person. So yeah, we had Tom Homan making an announcement that they're not giving up until every single child is rescued from human trafficking. And this is the priority for these guys. You have to understand this is the major priority. Can you imagine how complex this operation is? You're talking about the biggest industry globally, like $1 trillion industry. Okay, I will call it $1 trillion industry, even though it's said to be $1 billion industry. It's much bigger than we even realize. And in each country, just think about the many, many different tunnels, the baby factories, and all of the things, and all of the traffickers and transporters, and we're talking about millions of people here. It's not a small operation. But these guys are working like around the clock, sacrificing their own lives for us. And you go and then ask, well, why is it not happening fast enough? And why is it still going on? So the thing it's going to turn around for you is gratitude to all these people that are working on our behalf in places we would never want to be in. Yeah. In places where we would never want to be in. They are there seeing these horrible atrocities firsthand. They don't get to see their families and their wives. These people are working around the clock. So have some faith, have some gratitude, have some understanding of how big this operation is. It's over when it's over. That's all I can say. There's no timeline. It's not an exact science. Okay, there's a lot of minions to take out. And they will continue to over the next few years. There will be a lot of minions still to take out. But the major players will be removed and the systems will be taken back, and in fact has already been taken back. So all of these control systems will go down. Government in its current form will change. And everything will change and start to get better and better and better. Okay. So, yeah, just know things are happening. What else is happening? Steve Bannon was saying they ought to seize every record at Walter Reed regarding Biden right now. This was an illegitimate regime. Elections have consequences, and stolen elections have catastrophic consequences. So that whole fraud is going to be coming out now as well. And the normies are going to wake up in a cold sweat. I have seen so many hit articles against this man, BJT, on Facebook. I actually think a lot of them are written by AI. They are just flooded everywhere, and that's their tactic. And the normies just fall for it. They just gobble it up like it's truth because it reaffirms, what they've believed in for the last few years. They're not brave enough to face the fact that they were wrong. And I'm seeing even in certain channels, okay, on Telegram, big channels, I'm seeing bots like literally flooding the comments. I'm not on her channel too often, but I just happened to something caught my eye, and I was on the channel of Project Camelot, Kerry Cassidy. And I was just looking at the comments. Oh my word. It's like just bots everywhere. Like literally, there's like 12 people there that's spitting the same message out, talking about Trump's failure with the Vatican because this pedo's supposedly now in charge. So you've got to be able to discern, guys, because there's a lot of infiltrators out there. These guys are desperate. They're lining up all their bots and all their equipment and all their AI to do whatever they need to really, you know, turn this movement around at the last minute. But if you ever have one brain cell, you can see that this is all nonsense, right? But I believe I've just read that Telegram has handed over between 5,000 to 20,000 people and or messages or something like that to the US government for investigation. So some people panicked and said, oh, shit, you know, we knew we couldn't trust Telegram, etc., etc. I'm of the belief that it's the other way around. So they are tracking all of the infiltrators, all of the bad characters, all of the scammers, because Telegram can't handle those kind of things. It's got to be handled by, you know, by professionals. So, and that is just for 2025. And the reason why it happened in 2025 is because all of these things need to be rooted out. Also, think about this. You've got the RV happening soon, the currency revaluation globally. A lot of people have bought bonds. A lot of people have sold bonds, foreign currency, or exotic currencies. Supposedly, it's going to revalue in a massive way. And we all know how many fraudsters were in those movements, right? Selling this or that, or pump and dump schemes on cryptos, and all of these. Wouldn't it be a great opportunity to take all of those guys out of Telegram? Because supposedly the quantum financial system will know everyone and every click that they've made and everything that they've done. And this may feel like surveillance for some, but for others, it's a way to get rid of all the corrupt, bad characters, all the scammers, all the infiltrators. So for me, that makes more sense in terms of, why that happened. And all of that data gets connected into the quantum financial system. So somebody like that takes a bond in to be exchanged. They're going to say just, nope, you can't exchange because you're a bad character. Yeah. All of the scammers that made a quick buck selling people fake Zim bonds or whatever it is that they sold them, all of those people that made a quick buck are not going to be allowed to enjoy the redistribution of wealth. They will be blocked. Okay? So remember that. Those guys are going to regret it till kingdom comes. And because they made a little bit of money in this phase, but it's nothing compared to what they would have made if they just did things legitimately, honestly, with integrity. If they acquired some of these bonds, it pales in comparison. So yeah, very sad. Some people made the wrong decision, but I guess that's how you learn. You cannot enjoy the freedom, the abundance, and the peace of this new earth if you're one of those characters, because you're simply not ready. You're going to do another incarnation on a 3D earth. You're going to go through all the life lessons again. Good luck to you, boo. I'm not waiting around. It's your trip. So yeah. And now we've got Putin coming out saying or threatening to release satellite evidence of 9/11. We know that thing has been brewing as well, because that one is just going to unravel the whole show as well. That's one of the nails in the coffin, that if you take that out, the whole thing is going to fall apart, right? They're taking all of those, removing all those supportive nails, and this whole story is going to be collapsing. So Putin's going to hit once, but he's going to hit hard. Russia's preparing the release of evidence of the involvement of the US government and intelligence services in the September 11 attack. This list of evidence includes conclusive satellite images. Yep, no wonder they hated Putin, right? So yeah, but Space Force coming out saying commercial satellites can do a lot more than we thought. You think? That's awesome. We've got Pam Bondi, AG Pam Bondi coming out, reportedly poised to charge Alejandro Mayorkas with treason for deliberately allowing 20 million illegals to flood the US. A disgraceful betrayal that undermines America's sovereignty. It's all coming, guys. The normies will not be able to walk the streets because they spread all this hate on social media, all the ignorance and hate. And when they realize that they were wrong and that they were on the wrong side of history, how are they going to feel? You know, it's everyone's free choice, free will choice to do what they feel is right, and they have their own lessons to learn. So good luck to them. Everyone for themselves. I'm just going to try and be neutral, spread love and abundance, because if you allow yourself to be triggered by these people, it just pulls you back into 3D. So don't do that. Just be neutral. Just send them love. You know, they're the younger souls that really don't know what's going on. They've been brainwashed without their knowledge. They will learn their own lessons. Don't you worry. Karma never loses an address. They will face the karma of the actions. Cause and effect never lies. So yeah, also in the US, there was a big announcement that was made. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem announced that all charges were dropped against the farmers targeted by the Biden regime over an old fence. And there was another guy, I don't know who this guy is, but he also was making an announcement. Oh, it was Secretary Brooke Rollins, announced the USDA website for farmers to submit if they've been subject to lawfare by Democrats. That website is now live. And she said, I look forward to running out every single bad actor in these federal agencies who use their position to go after private citizens, people that are just being, you know, at a knock on the door, basically saying, you know, we going to be killing all of your cows or your ostriches, or, you know, running them off their land, basically. Just like they have been everywhere, and this is the same what they're doing in South Africa with the farmers. And I am just shocked because I guess, you know, I was a liberal once too, right? Many years ago. So I know how they think. And they are just so married to this whole race politics concept. 30 years is apparently not enough to be free. You still have to get benefits day in and day out to make sure that the past is corrected. 30 years. If you can't sort out your life in 30 years after getting all of the benefits, talk in South Africa about BBEEE and all these shit stick, you know, things that supposedly was going to benefit those that were previously advantaged. But how much time do you need? 30 years. It's time to let go and move on. But that's how Marxism works, right? Divide and conquer. Keep that race thing going. Just keep them against one another because they'll be so distracted they wouldn't even know that they're being enslaved or robbed or poisoned. They'll be so busy fighting each other, right? So anyway, I've had a lot of people in this community, white people, saying how there is no such thing happening in South Africa. These farmers are not being targeted. It's all nonsense. And I'm like, I just have to bite my lip. I don't want to get involved because honestly, it's a hard one, but to let go, but you have to let it go. and they will also get, you know, what's coming to them in terms of cause and effect. At some point, you can't claim ignorance, right? Because you had the same information everyone else had, and you chose to ignore it. And these people in South Africa have been brutally tortured and killed. Even if it's 1,000, but I believe it's a lot more. How can you just say that's a myth? Genocide on white farmers is not happening. They're not just getting killed, like, you know, in a wartime scenario. They're being tortured. Some of them being boiled alive. Other small girls, 80-year-old grandmothers are gang raped repeatedly while their father and mothers look, you know, are forced to look and watch. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this, but I'm just saying it's beyond me how people can say it's not happening and that it's okay because it's only a few thousand people. It's not okay regardless of anything. Anyway, I'm not saying, you know, this is acceptable on any race. So it's a hot topic in South Africa at the moment, and I'm just shocked to see how many educated people are defending Cyril Ramaphosa, saying, yes, it is not happening. It's a myth. Like, this is nonsense. So, yeah. And tomorrow, Cyril Ramaphosa is meeting with Donald Trump in the White House. Are we going to see a Zelensky 10.0? I hope we do, because in my mind, this is also just theater to oust the corruption that's been happening in South Africa. It had to come at some point, right? Now, I think what's going to happen is behind closed doors, Trump will make it very clear to Ramaphosa that, hey, your masters are no longer in charge. Your money tap has been turned off. So either you play ball, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. What do you think Cyril's going to reply with? And that scumbag Steenhuisen will be with him. He's a George Soros puppet of note. But the two will be meeting Trump in the White House. I can't wait for that. And they will just have to suck it up because South Africa relies so much on the US. There's 600 companies invested in US companies invested in South Africa, major companies. Our exports are astronomical to the US. They don't need us, just to make it clear. The US do not need South Africa. They have everything that they need. But South Africa needs the US. So they have no choice. They're going to have to capitulate, surrender, and play ball. So yeah, that's what I think. The cabal masters in the UK is now being taken out. So Ramaphosa will say, will be told that unfortunately, you know, you're going to do as we say now, and you either play ball or you don't. I think a lot of what we've seen happen is just theater. The whole thing, you know, the stupid things that Ramaphosa has been saying, the inflammatory things that he's been saying, that would have never happened before. This is all a big movie playing out now, in my opinion. So don't get your knickers in a knot, please. Things will go in the right direction. I'm not even, you know, that interested to see how it all goes. I know how this movie ends. And that's enough for me. You know, when you've seen the end of a movie, have you ever seen an end of a movie, or somebody's told you, oh, in the end, this is what happens? You're like, oh, I don't want to see the movie now because I kind of know how it ends. It spoils the movie for you. Well, that's how I feel. I know how this movie ends, and I don't have a big interest in seeing how the little dramas play out, honestly, because I know how it all ends. Now I have better things to do. I'm not going to waste my time and energy on watching all the little details when I've got work to do, because I want to be a galactic citizen. I don't really like that word, but for lack of a better word, I want to be in touch with our galactic brothers and sisters. I want to do amazing things on this planet and beyond. So I'm not worried about all this nonsense playing out here on the world stage. And you shouldn't be either. So I'm working on going within, switching on my intuition, working on my own, psychic powers, because that is humanity's destiny. Those are the gifts that are going to be coming online, but they're not going to magically come online. You have to work for it. You've got to do the work. And all of those gifts are going to be coming online. Our DNA is going to be activated. Well, it's being activated by all the solar activity that we've been seeing. Massive solar activity. That's why we feel so pummeled. Because these solar flares have been coming through thick and fast. Things that we've not seen before. Massive solar flares. We've now got the X flares that happened last week that are suddenly now Earth facing. Human resonance is just, whoa, just, ducking and diving. And so we're getting all the galactic help during this time to switch on our own superpowers. And not for fame or whatever, not for our egos to feel like, oh, I'm somebody important now. No, you've got to be humble during this process. Otherwise, it's going to end in misery, believe me. So we've got to remain extremely humble and diligently do the work and actively work on also sending healing energy to Mother Gaia, because it's a two-way process. She can't do it on her own. We can't do it on our own. We're part of Mother Gaia in this human form. We are nature. So how can we harm nature? So once we get back in touch with Mother Nature, the grounding, the centering, knowing who we are, knowing what a magnificently powerful spiritual being we really are, despite what we may feel in this human form, that's where the magic happens. So don't miss that, guys, because we are in that process now. We're getting all that galactic help now. So if you miss this window of opportunity, you're going to be left behind, and it's not going to come online for you that easily. So I know it's not easy, but you just got to do it until it gets easy. Do the meditation, do whatever you need to do, learn about different subjects, because that'll activate you as well. Yes, it's not enough to do things or understanding things intellectually. You've got to actually feel it within the body. You've got to do it within the body, not just read about it or listening about it. But it will help push you forward. Because once the brain and the heart connects on that information, that's where the magic happens. So we have that ability to switch on our 96% dormant DNA during this period. So don't miss that window of opportunity. It's very, very important. I've been going on for a while, and I think I need to wrap now. Just to say, United Health Group CEO Andrew Woody is stepping down. A bunch of people are stepping down. I think CBS also, two senior people at CBS is stepping down. For the first time almost in history, a retired 4-star Navy admiral has been charged and found guilty on federal charges, including bribery, conspiracy to commit bribery, acts affecting a personal financial interest, and concealment of material acts. So things are happening. You think there's nothing happening. People are resigning from top positions every single day. And things are being discovered and exposed every single day. You may not think it's that big a deal. All of these things combined is a very, very big deal. So hold the line, keep the faith, shine your light, share it with others. You are here for a higher purpose, not just your enjoyment in this human form. Remember that. I know all of you know that. So there's a lot happening. Don't mind the mainstream narrative, the negative rhetoric, the infiltrators that spew doubt. Okay? Just cut all the noise. Just cut it all out. Okay? Be focused. Keep your eye on the horizon. Because when the new earth dawns, it will be like nothing you've ever imagined. It will be more beautiful and more magnificent and more incredible than we could ever imagine. So keep focused on that. Keep doing the work. Keep shining your light. I'm sending you much love, and I'll speak to you soon. Oh, before I forget, subscribe so we can share the truth, please. Yeah, it's tough losing 3 channels, and so let's just get the truth out there, guys. Share this information, and let's keep going. Let's do what we need to do. And on Telegram, that's where we have daily interaction on the latest news coming out. So make sure you are subscribed on Telegram as well. If you want to join our bi-weekly Zoom meetings on a Sunday evening, it's a beautiful experience. It's nice and intimate. You can ask questions. You can connect with others in your area. So all the links are below. So yeah, you'll find it there. I'm sending you much love. Speak to you soon.